How are you guys doing? Today is Thursday, July 8th, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups and performances from yesterday, Wednesday, July 7th, and of course, I'm going to preview everything going on today as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. Of course, I think it's worth starting in the NHL as there is not a new champion, but now there is only one team that is remaining to claim the 2021 Stanley Cup Final, and it is the team that won the 2020 Stanley Cup. It is the Tampa Bay Lightning. They were able to beat the Montreal Canadiens in 5 games with a 1-0 win yesterday. Their only goal came from Ross Colton in the second period. Of course, their goalie, Andrei Vasilevsky, would end up getting the top star of the night. And with this win, like I said, they now have a 5-game series lead. And now the NHL season will, of course, there will be no NHL games played until later this year, as the Tampa Bay Lightning will enjoy this summer and fall with the Stanley Cup trophy as much as they possibly can. So that's what's going on in the NHL, and following this, I'm going to do a championship profile for the Tampa Bay Lightning, but in the meantime, looking into the NBA to check out what's going on there. Game 2 of the NBA Finals will take place tonight, as the Phoenix Suns do hold a 1-0 series lead over the 3rd seed Eastern Conference champs Milwaukee Bucks. A win here can get them 2 games away from the NBA Finals. So of course, this is going to be a highly anticipated matchup between these two teams. Quickly looking out to what's going on with baseball, as we say, within the continent, starting off with a doubleheader in Tampa. The Tampa Bay Rays hosted the Cleveland Indians. In the first matchup, the defending American League champs would beat the Cleveland Indians 8-1, as they scored 3 runs in the first inning, and they scored 3 runs in the third inning as well. For the Cleveland Indians in this matchup, the start and the loss will go to JC Mejia. JC Mejia would allow 6 earned runs in 2.2 innings pitched as he struck out 2 batters. With this loss, Mejia is 1-4 on the day. In their batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, as their designated hitter, Franmil Reyes, would go 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 13th home run of the season. For the Tampa Bay Rays in Game 1, the start and the win went to Michael Wacha. He allowed 1 earned run in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this win, Michael Wacha is 2-2 on the season. In their batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their center fielder, Kevin Kiermaier. He went 2 for 3 with 5 RBIs and a run as he hit his 2nd home run of the season. Following this win, the Tampa Bay Rays would win the second game of the doubleheader, winning this one 4-0. And for the Cleveland Indians in Game 2 of this matchup, the start and the loss would end up going to Sam Hentges. He allowed 4 earned runs in 4.1 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this loss, Sam Hentges is 1-4 on the season. In their batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with a hit, as they were actually held to a no-hitter on the game. The start for Tampa Bay would actually end up going to Colin McHugh. McHugh would allow no earned runs in 2 innings pitched as he struck out 3. The win would go to the Tampa Bay Rays first relief pitcher, Josh Fleming, as he allowed no earned runs and no hits in 2.2 innings pitched as he struck out 2. The entire Rays team would allow no hits and no runs. They walked 2 batters and struck out 8 on the night. With this combined no-hitter win and this doubleheader victory, the Tampa Bay Rays are now 51-36. That is the second best record in the American League East, as they've won their last 4 games. They've won 5 of their last 10. They currently trail the Boston Red Sox by 2.5 games in the division. They are currently holding on to the top American League wildcard spot, as they sit 2.5 games ahead of the second-place Oakland Athletics. With these doubleheader losses, the Cleveland Indians are now 42-42. That is the second best record in the American League Central. They've lost their last 9 games, and they've lost 9 of their last 10. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 8 games in the division, and they now trail the Oakland Athletics by 5 games for the second American League wildcard spot. Jumping out into Pittsburgh, the Atlanta Braves were able to beat the Pittsburgh Pirates in Pittsburgh, as they were able to hold the Pirates to 3 runs all game just for the team. The start for the Pirates would end up going to Will Crowe. He allowed 2 earned runs in 4.2 innings pitched as he struck out 4. The loss would go to the Pirates' second relief pitcher on the day, Kyle Crick. Kyle Crick would end up allowing 4 earned runs and only zero point 0.1 innings pitched. With this loss, he's now 1-1 on the season. In the Pirates batting lineup, their their all-star second baseman Adam Frazier would go 2 for 5. Their third baseman Cabrian Hayes would end up going 2 for 4 with a run, and then their first baseman on the day, John Nogowski, would end up going 4 for 5. For the Atlanta Braves, the start and the win went to Drew Smyly. He allowed 3 earned runs and 5 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With this win, Drew Smyly is 7-3 on the year. In their batting lineup, their elite right fielder Ronald Acuna Jr. would go 3 for 5 with an RBI and 3 runs. He hit his 24th home run of the season. Their elite first baseman and reigning National League MVP Freddie Freeman would end up going 2 for 6 with a run. Their pinch hitting second baseman Ehire Adrianza would go a perfect 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 6th home run of the season. Their third baseman Austin Riley would end up going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Then their shortstop, Dansby Swanson, would end up going 3 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs as Swanson hit his 18th home run of the season. And their pinch-hitting left fielder, Abraham Almonte, would end up going 2 for 3 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs. With this win, the Atlanta Braves are now... Almonte would hit his 2nd home run of the season. With this win, the Atlanta Braves are now 42-44. That is the 3rd best record in the National League East. They've won 6 of their last 10 games, and they now trail the New York Mets by 4.5 games in the division. With this loss, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 32-54. That is the worst record in the National League Central. That is the 2nd worst record in the National League. They've lost 7 of their last 10 as they now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 19 games in their own division. Jumping out to Minneapolis, the Minnesota Twins hosted the Chicago White Sox, and the White Sox were able to pull up a 6-1 win on the road to give Lance Lynn his 9th win of the season. For the Minnesota Twins, the start and the loss would end up going to Michael Pineda. He allowed 5 earned runs and 5.1 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With this loss, Pineda is 3-5 on the season. In their batting lineup, their third baseman on the day, Luis Arias, would end up going 2 for 4. Their second baseman, Jorge Polanco, would end up going 2 for 4 as well. For the Chicago White Sox, the start and the win went to Lance Lynn. He allowed 1 earned run and 6 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this win, he's 9-3 on the year. In their batting lineup, their elite shortstop, Tim Anderson, would go 4 for 4 with an RBI and a run. Their right fielder, Brian Goodwin, would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI. Their center fielder on the day, Adam Engel, would end up going 2 for 4 with 2 runs. Their second baseman, Lurie Garcia, would go 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs as Garcia hit his 3rd home run of the season, as well as his 3rd triple of the season as well. Their third baseman, Jake Berger, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI, and then their left fielder, Billy Hamilton, would end up going 2 for 4 with a run. With this win, the Chicago White Sox are now 51-35. That is the best record in the American League Central. They are now holding on to the 3 seed in the American League as they have now won their last 2 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10. They now sit 8 games ahead of the second-place Cleveland Indians in the division at the moment. With this loss, the Minnesota Twins are now 35-50. That is the worst record in the American League Central and the 3rd worst record in the American League. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 7 of their last 10. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 15.5 games in the division. Jumping out to Dallas, the Texas Rangers hosted the Detroit Tigers, and the Tigers were able to beat the Rangers 5-3. And in this matchup for the Rangers, the start and the loss went to Kyle Gibson. That was his first loss of the season as he allowed 5 earned runs and 6.1 innings pitched as he struck out 7. With this loss, Kyle Gibson is 6-1 on the year. In their batting lineup, their right fielder, Joey Gallo, will go 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 22nd and 23rd home runs of the season. Their catcher, Jonah Heim, will go 2 for 4 on the day as well. For the Detroit Tigers, the start went to Casey Mize. He allowed 2 earned runs and 4 innings pitched as he struck out 2. The win for the Tigers would go to their first relief pitcher, Kyle Funkhauser, as he allowed no earned runs and 2 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this win, Funkhauser is 3-0 on the year, and the save will go to their closer, Gregory Soto. He allowed no earned runs and 2 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this win, Soto now has 7 saves on the year. In their batting lineup, their center fielder, Akil Baddoo, would go 2 for 3 with a run. The only other player on the team with more than one hit was their second baseman, Harold Castro. Castro would end up going 2 for 4 with a run. With this win, the Detroit Tigers are now 40-47. That is the third best record in the American League Central. They've won 7 of their last 10. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 11.5 games in the division, and they now trail the Chicago White Sox by 8.5, or they now trail the A's by 8.5 games in the wild card picture, just to give a sense of where the Tigers are at this moment. With this loss, the Texas Rangers are now 34-53. That is the worst record in the American League West, and that is the second worst record in the American League. They've now lost 5 of their last 10 games, and they now trail the Houston Astros by 20 games in the division. Jumping out to Kansas City, the Kansas City Royals hosted the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds were able to beat the Royals 5-2 as the Reds were trailing 5-0 going into the 7th inning. They would score 3 runs in the 7th to take the lead thanks to a 2-run double from Jonathan India, which gave them the lead, and they were able to run away with it with a run in the 8th and the 9th inning. For the Kansas City Royals, the start would end up going to Brady Singer. Singer would allow 1 earned run in 6 innings pitched, as Singer he would strike out 6 batters on the day. The loss would end up going to the Royals' first relief pitcher on the day, Scott Barlow. Scott Barlow would allow 2 earned runs in 1 inning pitch. He would blow his second save of the year, and with this loss, he's 2-3 on the season. In their batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their center fielder, Michael Taylor, who went 2 for 4 with an RBI. For the Cincinnati Reds, the win went to Sonny Gray. He allowed 2 earned runs in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 7. With this win, he's 2-4 on the year, and the save would end up being given to Heath Hembree. Hembree would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out a batter. He would pick up his 4th save of the year. In their batting lineup, their second baseman, Jonathan India, would end up going 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. And then their right fielder, Tyler Naquin, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI. The last player for the Reds with more than 1 hit was their outfielder, their center fielder, Shogo Akiyama, who would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the Cincinnati Reds are now 45-41. That is the second best record in the National League Central. They've now won 7 of their last 10 games. They now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 6 games in the division, and they currently trail the San Diego Padres by 4.5 games for the second National League wildcard spot, as the Reds are the first team on the outside looking in. With this loss, the Kansas City Royals are now 36-50. That is the 4th best record in the American League Central and the 4th worst record in the American League. They've now lost their last 7 games, and they now trail the Chicago White Sox by 15 games in the division. Jumping out to New York, the New York Mets hosted the Milwaukee Brewers for a doubleheader. In the first matchup, the Mets would end up winning this game in the 8th inning off of a walk-off 2-run single from Jeff McNeil to pick up the first win of the night. For the Milwaukee Brewers in Game 1 of this doubleheader, the start would end up being given to Corbin Burns. Burns allowed 1 earned run in 5.2 innings as he struck out 8. The loss would end up being given to the Brewers' closer for the day, Brent Suter. He allowed 2 runs without registering an out. He would blow his 5th save of the season, and with this loss, he's 8-4 on the year. In their batting lineup, the only player on their team that finished with more than 1 hit was their third baseman for the day, Luis Urias. He went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 11th home run of the season. For the New York Mets in Game 1, the start went to Jacob deGrom. He allowed 2 earned runs in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 10. The win would go to the Mets closer for the day and the only other pitcher for the Mets, Edwin Diaz. He allowed 1 run in 1 inning pitch as he struck out 2. With this win, he's 3-2 on the year. In their batting lineup, their elite first baseman, Pete Alonso, would go 2 for 3. Their second baseman, Jeff McNeil, will go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs as well. And following this win, the Milwaukee Brewers would split the doubleheader as they beat the Mets 5-0 in the second game. In Game 2, the start and the loss for the New York Mets would end up being given to Robert Stock. Stock allowed 2 earned runs in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this loss, Stock is 0-2 on the season. In their batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, and a lot of that can be attributed to great pitching from the Brewers. For the Brewers, the start went to Brett Anderson. Brett Anderson would allow no earned runs and only 3 hits in 4 innings pitched as he struck out a batter. The win for the Brewers would go to their first relief pitcher, Jay Cousins. He allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out a batter. With this win, Cousins is 1-0 on the season. In their batting lineup, their third baseman, Luis Urias, would strike again as he would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. He hit his 12th home run of the season yesterday. With this split series, the Milwaukee Brewers are now 52-36. That is currently the best record in the National League Central. They're holding on to the second seed in the National League as they have now won 7 of their last 10 games, and they now sit 6 games ahead of the second place Cincinnati Reds in their own division. With this win and loss, the New York Mets are now 45-38. They are still holding on to the best record in the National League East. They've now lost 5 of their last 10 games, considering they've lost their most recent. They now sit 4 games ahead of the second place Washington Nationals in the division as they hold on to the third seed in the National League at the moment. Jumping out to Anaheim, the Los Angeles Angels hosted the Boston Red Sox, and the Angels were able to pull off a 5-4 home win to pick up their 44th win of the season. For the Boston Red Sox, the start and the loss would end up going to Eduardo Rodriguez. Rodriguez would allow 4 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this loss, Rodriguez is 6-5 on the season. In their batting lineup, their shortstop, Xander Bogaerts, would go 3-for-4 with an RBI and a run. And then the only other player in their team with more than 1 hit was their second baseman, Christian Arroyo. He went 2-for-4 with an RBI and a run. And for the Los Angeles Angels in this loss, the start and the win would go to Andrew Heaney. He allowed 3 earned runs in 5.1 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this win, he's 5-6 on the season. The save would go to Raisel Iglesias as he allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 3. He picked up his 18th save of the season, and in their batting lineup, their second baseman, David Fletcher, would go 2-for-4 with a run. Their designated hitter, Shohei Ohtani, would go 2-for-4 with an RBI and 2 runs as he hit his 32nd home run of the season. Their first baseman, Jared Walsh, would go 2-for-4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 21st and 22nd home runs of the season. With this win, the Los Angeles Angels are now 44-42. That is the 4th best record in the American League West. They've now won their last 2 games, and they've won 8 of their last 10. They now trail the Houston Astros by 9.5 games in the division. And at the moment, they currently trail the Oakland Athletics by 4 games for the second American League wildcard spot, as they are the 4th team on the outside looking in, just to give a look at what that race is looking like. With this loss, the Boston Red Sox are now 54-34. That is still the best record in the American League East, as they are holding on to the second seed in the American League. They've now lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 3 of their last 10. They still sit 2.5 games ahead of the second place Tampa Bay Rays in the division. Jumping out to Baltimore, the Baltimore Orioles hosted the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays were able to pull off a 10-2 win to give Hyunjin Ryu his 8th win of the year. For the Baltimore Orioles, the start and the loss went to Matt Harvey. He allowed 6 earned runs in 3.2 innings pitched as he struck out 3 on the day. With this loss, Matt Harvey is 3-10 on the season. In their batting lineup, their right fielder, Austin Hayes, would end up going 2-for-4 with an RBI and a run. Austin Hayes would hit his 10th double of the season for the team. Their second baseman, Pat Valaika, would go 2-for-4. And then the Orioles' third baseman for the day, Domingo Leyba, would end up going 2-for-4 with a run. For the Toronto Blue Jays, the start and the win went to their elite starting pitcher, Hyunjin Ryu. He allowed 1 earned run in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 7. With this win, he's 8-5 on the year. In their batting lineup, their shortstop, Bo Bichette, would end up going 3-for-5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He would hit his 16th home run of the season. Their elite first baseman, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., would go 3-for-4 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their right fielder, Teoscar Hernandez, would go 3-for-5 with an RBI and a run. And then their third baseman, Kevin Biggio, would go 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs and a run. With this win, the Toronto Blue Jays are now 44-40. That is the 3rd best record in the American League East. They've won 6 of their last 10. They now trail the Boston Red Sox by 8 games in the division, and they now trail the Oakland Athletics by 3 games in the wild card race, as they are the first team on the outside looking in on the American League side. With this loss, the Baltimore Orioles are now 28-58. That is the worst record in the American League East, and that is the worst record in the American League. They've lost 6 of their last 10 games as they now trail the Boston Red Sox by 25 games in the division. Jumping out to Miami, the Miami Marlins hosted the defending World Series champs, the LA Dodgers. In this matchup, the Marlins would pick up the 9-6 win at home. The score was tied at the bottom of the 9th until Jesus Aguilar would hit a walk-off 3-run home run to give the Marlins their 38th win of the year. For the defending champs LA Dodgers, the start was given to Jake Reed. Reed would only pitch 1 inning as he would only allow a run. The loss, however, would go to the Dodgers closer on the day, Edwin Uceta. Edwin Uceta would end up allowing 3 earned runs in .2 innings pitched as he struck out a batter. With this loss, he's 0-3 on the year. In their batting lineup, their third baseman Justin Turner will go 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run for himself. He hit his 14th home run of the season. Their left fielder AJ Pollock would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. Pollock would hit his 9th home run of the season. Their elite right fielder Mookie Betts would go 1 for 5 with an RBI and a run as Mookie Betts hit his 11th home run of the season. And then for the Miami Marlins, the start would end up being given to Ross Detweiler. Ross Detweiler would allow 5 earned runs in 2 innings pitched as he struck out 3. The win would end up being given to the Miami Marlins closer for the day, Anthony Bender. He allowed 1 earned run in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 3. He would blow his second save of the year, but with this win, he's 1-0. In their batting lineup, their right fielder Garrett Cooper would go a perfect 3 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 8th and 9th home runs of the season yesterday. Their first baseman Jesus Aguilar would go 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs and a run. Aguilar would hit his 14th home run of the season, the 3-run home run that won them the game. Their left fielder, Jesus Sanchez, would end up going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 3rd home run of the season for the Marlins. With this win, the Miami Marlins are now 38-47. That is the worst record in the National League East. That is the 4th worst record in the National League. They've won their last 3 games and they've won 6 of their last 10. They now trail the New York Mets by 8 games in the division. With this loss, the LA Dodgers are now 53-34. That is the 2nd best record in the National League East as they've now lost their last 3 games and they've lost 3 of their last 10. They now trail the San Francisco Giants by a game and a half in the division, and they are currently holding on to the first NL wildcard spot as they sit 3 games ahead of the 2nd place San Diego Padres in the race. Jumping out to Chicago, the Chicago Cubs hosted the Philadelphia Phillies as the Cubs were able to beat the Phillies 8-3, scoring all 8 of their runs in the first 6 innings. For the Philadelphia Phillies, the start and the loss with the Zach Wheeler. He allowed 7 runs in 5.2 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this loss, Zach Wheeler is 6-5. In their batting lineup, their catcher JT Realmuto would go 2 for 4 with a run on the day. And then the only other player on the team with more than 1 hit was their third baseman Alec Bohm, who went 2 for 3. For the Chicago Cubs in this matchup, the start and the win went to Alec Mills. He allowed 3 earned runs in 5.2 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this win, he's 4-2 on the year. In their batting lineup, their left fielder, Jock Peterson, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. Additionally, their first baseman, Anthony Rizzo, will go 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs on the day. And then their second baseman, Nico Horner, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the Chicago Cubs are now 43-44. That is the 3rd best record in the National League Central, as they've only won 1 of their last 9 games. They now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 8.5 games in the division at the moment. With this loss, the Philadelphia Phillies are now 41-43. That is the 4th best record in the National League East, as they've lost 4 of their last 10. Alongside the Atlanta Braves, they now sit 4.5 games behind the first place New York Mets in the division. Jumping out to Houston, the Houston Astros hosted the Oakland Athletics, and after the game was tied at 3 going into the bottom of the 7th, it would be a Kyle Tucker go-ahead solo home run that would give the Astros their 54th win of the season. For the Oakland Athletics, the start and the loss went to Sean Manaea. He allowed 4 runs in 6.2 innings pitched as he struck out 6 batters on the day. With this loss, Manaea is now 6-6 on the season. Nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, as their first baseman, Matt Olson, would end up going 1 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs. Olson hit his 21st home run of the season. For the Houston Astros, the start was actually given to Luis Garcia. Garcia allowed 1 earned run and only 2 hits in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 7. The win will go to the Astros' second relief pitcher, Blake Taylor. Taylor would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitch, and with this win, he's now 2-2 on the year. The save will go to the Astros closer, Ryan Presley, as he allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he struck out a batter. That would be his 16th save of the season. In their batting lineup, their elite second baseman, Jose Altuve, would go 1 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run as he hit his 19th home run of the season. Nobody on the Astros would finish with more than 1 hit, but with this win, the Astros are now 54-33. That is the best record in the American League West, as they have now won 6 of their last 10 games, and they've now won their last 6 games. They now hold on to the top seed in the American League. They now sit 5.5 games ahead of the second Oakland Athletics in the division to get a sense of where they are. With this loss, the Oakland Athletics are now 49-39. That is the second best record in the American League West, as they have now lost their last 3 games and they've lost 7 of their last 10. They now sit 5.5 games behind the division leading Houston Astros, and they now hold on to the second seed in the American League wild card, as they sit 2.5 games behind the first seed Tampa Bay Rays in the wild card, and they now sit 3 games ahead of the Toronto Blue Jays, who are the very first team on the outside looking in. Jumping out to Phoenix, the Arizona Diamondbacks hosted the Colorado Rockies, and the Diamondbacks were able to pull off a 6-4 win at home. They scored 3 runs in the second inning, and they scored 3 runs in the 7th inning to give themselves their 25th win of the season. For the Colorado Rockies, the start and the loss went to Antonio Senzatella. He would allow 3 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this loss, Antonio Senzatella is 2-8 on the year. In their batting lineup, their elite right fielder Charlie Blackmon will go 3-4 with a run. And then their third baseman, Ryan McMahon, will go 3-4 with an RBI and a run for himself. Last but not least, their catcher, Edwin Diaz, would end up going Elias Diaz would end up going 2-4 with an RBI and a run, as Diaz hit his 7th home run of the year. For the Arizona Diamondbacks, the start was given to their starting pitcher for the day, Humberto Castellanos. He allowed no earned runs and only 4 hits in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 2. The win will go to the Arizona Diamondbacks first relief pitcher, Matt Peacock, as he allowed 1 earned run in 3 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this win, Peacock is 3-6 on the year, and the save will go to Joakim Soria. Soria allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 2. That would be his 2nd save of the year. In their batting lineup, their second baseman, Eduardo Escobar, would go 3-4 with 3 RBIs and a run. He hit his 19th home run of the season. Their center fielder, Pavin Smith, would end up going 2-4 with a run. With this win, the Arizona Diamondbacks are now 25-63. That is the worst record in the National League East. They've now won their last 2 games, and they've won 3 of their last 10. They now trail the San Francisco Giants by 30 games in the division, just to give a sense of where they are at the moment. With this loss, the Colorado Rockies are now 37-50. That is the 4th best record in the National League West, as they've now lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 4 of their last 10. They now trail the San Francisco Giants by 17.5 games in the division at the moment. Jumping out to San Francisco, the San Francisco Giants hosted the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Giants were able to pick up a 5-2 win to continue to hold on to the best record in all of baseball. For the St. Louis Cardinals in this matchup, the start and the loss went to Johan Oviedo. He allowed 2 earned runs in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this loss, he's now 0-5 on the season. In their batting lineup, their left fielder Dylan Carlson was the only player who had more than 1 hit as he went 2-4. For the San Francisco Giants, however, the start and the win went to Alex Wood. He allowed only 1 earned run in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this win, he's 8-3 on the year, and the save went to Jake McGee. Jake McGee would go on to allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out a batter. That would be his 17th save of the season. In the Giants batting lineup, their second baseman, Wilmer Flores, would go 2-5, as he was the only player on the Giants who had more than 1 hit. With this win, the San Francisco Giants are now 54-32. That is the best record in the National League West, the best record in the National League, and win percentage-wise, the best record in the entire MLB. They've only won 4 of their last 10 games, but they currently sit a game and a half ahead of the second-place Los Angeles Dodgers in the division to give a sense of where they sit. With this loss, the St. Louis Cardinals are now 43-45. That is the 4th best record in the National League Central. They've lost 4 of their last 10 games, and they now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 9 games in the division. Jumping out to San Diego, the San Diego Padres hosted the Washington Nationals, the 2019 World Series champs, and the Nats would pull off a 15-5 win as they were able to score 10 of their 15 in the first 4 innings. For the San Diego Padres, the start and the loss went to Chris Paddock as he allowed 9 runs in 2 innings pitched, striking out 2. With this loss, he's 4-6 on the season. In their batting lineup, their center fielder, Trent Grisham, will go 2-5 with 2 RBIs and a run. Grisham hit his 11th home run of the season. Their elite third baseman, Manny Machado, will go 2-2 with an RBI and a run. And then their first baseman, Eric Hosmer, will go 2-4 with an RBI and a run for himself. He hit his 7th home run of the season. For the Washington Nationals, the start and the win went to Patrick Corbin, as Corbin allowed 2 earned runs in 6 innings pitched, striking out 3. With this win, Patrick Corbin is now 6-7 on the year. In their batting lineup, their shortstop, Trey Turner, would go 2-5 with 2 runs on the day. Their elite right fielder, Juan Soto, will go 2-3 with 3 RBIs and 3 runs, as he also finished with 2 walks on the day. Soto would hit his 11th home run of the season. Their first baseman, Josh Bell, will go 3 for 6 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. Their third baseman, Starlin Castro, would end up going 2 for 6 with 3 RBIs and a run. Their catcher, Yan Gomes, would go 2 for 6 with an RBI and a run for himself. Their left fielder on the day, who was Josh Harrison, would end up going 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. With this win, the Washington Nationals are now 42-43. That is the second best record in the National League East, as they've won 5 of their last 10. They now trail the New York Mets by 4 games in the division. With this loss, the San Diego Padres are now 51-38. That is the third best record in the National League West, as they've lost 5 of their last 10. They now trail the San Francisco Giants by 4.5 games in the division, and they are currently holding on to the second National League wildcard spot, as they sit 3 games behind the defending champs LA Dodgers, and they sit 4.5 games ahead of the Cincinnati Reds, who are the first team in the National League on the outside looking in. Jumping out to Seattle, last but not least, the Seattle Mariners hosted the New York Yankees, and the Yankees were able to pull off a 5-4 road win. All 5 of their runs would come in the first 2 innings. For the Seattle Mariners, the start and the loss went to Yusei Kikuchi. Kikuchi would allow 5 earned runs in 5 innings pitched, as he struck out 5. With this loss, Yusei Kikuchi is 6-4 on the season. In their batting lineup, their catcher Todd Murphy will go 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a run. He hit his 7th home run of the season for Seattle. He would have all 3 of the RBIs for the team as well. For the New York Yankees, the start and the .2 inning appearance was given to their starting pitcher for the day, Nick Nelson. Nelson allowed 1 earned run and walked 3 batters in .2 innings pitched. The win for the Yankees would go to their first relief pitcher, and their first relief pitcher for the day will be Luis Cessa. Cessa allowed no earned runs and only 1 hit in 3.1 innings pitched, and with his win, he's 2-1 on the season. The save was given to the Yankees closer for the day, Chad Green. Green allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched, as he struck out 2. That'll be his 3rd save of the year. In their batting lineup, their elite right fielder Aaron Judge would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs, as he hit his 20th home run of the season. Their elite designated hitter Giancarlo Stanton would go 2 for 5. Their first baseman Luke Voit would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. And then last but not least, the Yankees left fielder Tim LaCastro would end up going 2 for 4 with a run. With this win, the New York Yankees are now 44-41, as that is the 4th best record in the American League East. They've won their last 3 games, and they've won 4 of their last 10. They now trail the Boston Red Sox by 8.5 games in the division, and they now trail the Oakland Athletics by 3.5 games for that second American League wildcard spot. Right now, that is what the MLB is looking like. Taking a really quick look as we leave the continent, looking at the second Euro 2020 semifinal matchup, England was able to beat Denmark 2-1 in extra time, as their goal from Harry Kane in the 104th minute, as he rebounded his penalty kick, would be the goal that got England to the final, where they will face off against Italy. That matchup will be on Sunday, July 11th. So until we get there, that is what's going on with this tournament. And following this, I'm going to do a preview for the Euro 2020 final. But right now, that is currently what the world of soccer is looking like as we round up everything that's going on for today, Thursday, July 8th, 2021. Once again, I'm James Sims, and this is The Elite. I want to thank everyone for listening to all 32 minutes of this piece. And of course, I wouldn't be able to do this without ESPN, the NHL, NBA, MLB, FIFA websites for helping me gain the stats and statistics for me to be able to do this episode. And once all of today's matchups and episodes are done, I will come back tomorrow with another daily episode. I also have little segments that are going on today that are following this. So, of course, stay tuned. I hope all is well and continue to stay elite. Peace out, and thanks for listening to my piece.